being, which is that I think he's got two qualities which I was really excited about seeing Boulder benefit from, which is love and also a fair and balanced approach. And Waylon was born, were you born here? Yeah, you were born here. Moved away, came back, and has been here for a long time. And Waylon and Boulder, I feel like just go together. And so I feel like if we have him in council, which the goal is to get him elected, then we'll have a good love quality for the city in there, and a heart that beats, like to long Boulder tradition. So I'm really excited about that. Woo! And then from a fair and balanced perspective, I know that there's all sorts of issues that are always up there at the time, but then also there's most important things are the ones that come up later and that you don't predict. And a person like Waylon, who I think will do a great job of hearing people and listening and then making a personal and informed decision from that information, is what we need in our local politicians. So I love you very much. I'm glad you'll bring your love to Boulder. We got to get you elected and stay fair and balanced. Now, I'm told I get to introduce Steve Fenberg, who many of you probably even know better than me. I was just about to say, okay, I need to introduce Steve. And he's like, yes, that's me. I'm standing right here. So without further ado, please come forward and take us to the next phase, Steve.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Saul, and thanks for hosting. My name is Steve Fenberg, and if you live in the city of Boulder, I am your state senator. And for one more year. It's been an honor. And, I will say this is probably the most Waylon Lewis party I could imagine. Not just because there's amazing people here, community leaders, etc., hippies, yuppies, the whole group, the whole crowd of Boulder, but there are no single-use plates or bowls. In fact, there are no plates or bowls over there. I just was wondering if I could find Waylon being a hypocrite at his own party having single-use stuff, and I couldn't, because Waylon Lewis is as real as it gets. Not only is he the only person in Boulder that can pull off wearing a tie and shorts and a cowboy hat and high socks and whatever those shoes are, but we're lucky because he's not wearing the short shorts that he often wears in the summer. And if you've been in Boulder for a bit, you know about those. But in all seriousness, it really is an honor, and it's so exciting for me to be here tonight to introduce Waylon Lewis and urge all of you to support him. And if you're here, I'm guessing you're supporting him. I'm guessing you know Waylon. And there's a good crowd here.
Waylon, it's your time, man. It is your time. It's your time.
I don't know. When you first started talking about running for city council, to me, it was literally 18 years ago, I think.
He moves fast.
Yeah. And I say that because, not just because I want to give him crap for, thinking about it and, wasted a lot of my time deliberating if he should do this for literally maybe almost 2 decades. He has thought about this. He is not jumping into this because it's trendy. He's not jumping into this because on a whim he, woke up and wanted to do something totally different. He is doing this because he has a drive at the end of the day to be of service to his community. And he is doing this with humility. He is doing this knowing that not everybody is going to agree with him, but he is going to do the work and make sure that every decision he makes, as Saul said, is going to be something, I don't know if I would say fair and balanced. It kind of is like a Fox News thing in my brain, at least. But he is going to do it with a lot of thought and a lot of grace and a lot of love. Because honestly, I was thinking about it on my ride over here. That's my child. Sorry. Every time I speak, she screams. It's weird.
She loves it.
whether you agree with Waylon on any particular issue or whatnot, honestly, I would challenge anybody here today, and frankly, anybody in the Boulder community, to find me somebody who genuinely and truly cares about Boulder more than Waylon Lewis does. He was born here in a hospital that doesn't exist anymore.
Me too.
Several probably were. He has seen Boulder change over your, what are you?
49 years.
Over his 24 years of life.
Yeah.
He knows what Boulder used to be. He knows what it is today. He knows it in his bones. And I think he has a real vision of what it should be moving forward. And in my mind, when I think about that, it is the way Waylon wants Boulder to move forward is to retain that special thing that Boulder has always had. That is the reason why either we came here in the first place or why we stayed here, but to allow it to progress, allow it to modernize, allow it to evolve. Because we do need to change. I think all of us have many changes we would like to see in Boulder. You name the issue. But we need to do it in the Boulder way, right? We need to do it with thought. We need to do it with intention in a way that doesn't leave people out, that benefits everybody, and that is inclusive. And we all know Waylon, and we know that is a path that he will be committed to as our city council member. The other thing I would say is, like it or not, Waylon is an independent thinker. And what has bothered me in recent years in Boulder and the city council race is that I feel like it's become too polarized at times. I think we all could say that. And we're all guilty of it. And we're also ones who probably sit at home and complain about it. But it seems to me like, the last thing a small community should do is try to be more like partisan politics in America. And what I love about how Waylon is doing this is he could pick a path, right? He could say, I'm gonna be on this side, or I'm gonna be on that side on that issue, because I've done the math and I can figure it out, and I think that's what's gonna get me elected. Waylon's not doing that. He's actually, I think, communicating his true beliefs and values, and he's not saying, I'm gonna be in a box because this is the box that's gonna get me elected, but he's actually doing it with his heart and what he thinks is best for the community. However, typical politician, he did get an endorsement today from Better Boulder. But we can clap about that because that's great. Because Waylon, I think people are waking up and seeing the Waylon that we've all known for a long time, and realize that yes, he's fun. Yes, he's a goofy guy. Yes, we can make fun of him and how he dresses, and that he cuts his own hair and does a so-so job.
Yeah. True.
But in his heart, we all know that there is nobody that cares about this community more than Waylon Lewis. He has struggled in this community. He has loved in this community. He has raised his 2 children in this community, Redford and Winnie. And I think he has a true understanding of the challenges that we face. And so in my mind, if you want a Boulder that is more inclusive, a Boulder that is thinking ahead on transportation and on bike issues and on so many of the other challenges that we face every single day on climate, on air quality, on how our government includes all of us in its decision making, there is nobody better than Waylon Lewis to represent us on the city council. So Waylon, get up here and say a few words.
Yeah, buddy.
So it's actually not my turn. It's Mayor Aaron Brockett, if you don't mind coming up.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here. How are y'all doing?
Yeah.
All right. Are we excited to be here supporting Waylon Lewis?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Look at all of these people. So many wonderful people and so many kids. I love to see the young energy here. Hear the kids running around and laughing. So wonderful. Steve, thanks for that. There you are. Steve, thanks for that magnificent introduction. It's an honor to go next. And I want to give a shout out to Sol and Ulrike for hosting us here in this beautiful home. Let's give them a hand. think the first time I was here was for an event for the Jaipur Literature Festival. You support all kinds of good causes. We actually have Jesse Friedman in the house tonight, who is the director of the Jaipur Literature Festival. And so make sure and visit that cultural treasure when it's happening in a few weeks. It's one of the extraordinary things about Boulder that keeps Boulder being funky, fun, fascinating, and interesting. So anyway, it's wonderful to be here representing or talking about Waylon. I just want you to think for a moment about the first time that you met Waylon Lewis. And I'll bet pretty much all of you can remember that time, right? Because Waylon is a really extraordinary, funny, standout kind of personality, right? He's a fun guy. I remember one time having dinner with my family at Cafe Aeon up on the hill. And Waylon and some friends were at the next table over. And as we wrapped up, we were walking out together, and my oldest child, who's about 9 at the time, was like, "Dad, who is that? That guy seems really fun." I'm like, "Yeah, that's Waylon Lewis. Yeah, he's kind of like the mayor of Boulder. Like people know about Waylon. He's a really extraordinary personality." But in addition to being fun, what matters? Well, I'm looking forward to serving with Waylon on the city council because that fun will come in handy. We have other fun people on city council, like Tara Weiner over here, who likes to talk about being the most fun person on city council. So that'll be super fun. But fundamentally, I think what matters for this race is that Waylon is deeply driven by a desire to make our world a better place. And he makes choices that are not easy and that are not universally accepted with that passion for making the world a better place. Does Waylon drive a car all over the place to get places quickly and easily and cheaply? No, he does not. No, he does not. He's biking everywhere. Is he eating meat or other factory farm products? No, he is not. Waylon is a passionate vegan. And that desire and that passion for making the world a better place shines through in everything that he does, and is why it's so important that he's running. I'm excited that he's running this time. There have been a few times in the past where he's talked to me about running and has not run. So Steve was talking about that before. I think maybe 10 years ago, as first, I'm thinking about running. Oh, that's so cool. 8 years ago, I'm thinking about running this year. Well, you are too. Oh, that's so good. No, 6. So this year, when I heard from Willie, he's like, "Oh, thinking about running for city council." I'm like, that's nice. Okay. And then he was like, no, I'm serious. And then as it was clear as serious, I'm like, yes, this is the year when it's finally going to happen. This is the year when Waylon Lewis is going to get elected to the city council, and our city will be a better place for it. So let's all join together in a big rousing round of applause and cheer for our next city councilor, Waylon Lewis. To welcome up my great colleagues and mentors, our former mayor, Zan Jones, our former county commissioner, Elise Jones, phenomenal community members who are also going to say a few words. So
Yeah.
I think we'll underscore few, because if we're not careful, we're not going to hear from Waylon. But it is our honor to have Waylon as a neighbor among many of your other wonderful qualities. It's great to have you nearby and part of our neighborhood. When I think about what we need on city council, I think what we need is people that get Boulder. And I think the lived experience that you've had of growing up, barely getting by, if I understand correctly, living here, figuring it out in, with a single mom household, trying to piece it together to afford to stay here, but also knows all the joys of Boulder and has built a successful business that embodies some really cool stuff about Boulder. He's seen both the underbelly and all the glories of this wonderful place, and he gets it. And I really think that will come in very handy on city council, as well as everybody knows you, right? And so everybody feels like they can come talk to you, and you seek them out as well, and somebody that will build community like that. And I also think you will help keep Boulder weird. And I think that's in short order. We need to keep our sense of self and community, and you can help us do that.
And I would just add that being a neighbor, we get to see Waylon out in the community. And the place that I see him most is early mornings where we're out walking our dogs. Used to be Red, now it's Winfield. And you can tell a lot by a person, by how they interact with their pet, their dog. And it occurred to me as I was biking over here that one of the reasons that I am enthusiastically supporting Waylon is because I think he will serve on the city council like his dog would, right? Think about it, right? Always leading with the tail wag, meeting a new person, happy to see him. An infinite amount of curiosity. Hopefully Waylon won't feel need to sniff us all, but right, wanting to learn about issues and people, right? Huh? A very strong desire to have open space and parks preserved for critters and people alike, and also for safe streets so that we can all get around, not get hit by cars, right? Very, very important for the dog, but most importantly, always finding the joy and the fun in being in the community, out building community. And I think we need that kind of energy on the city council. Steve's right. There's too much divisiveness and polarization. We need some puppy-like love and fun to go in our city deliberations, and I think Waylon will bring that.
Yeah.
So it's still not time for me, but I feel like these speeches are pretty fun and interesting. Do we support more? A couple more? I feel like, you know, for my community party, hey Brandy, I really, you know, we have such a wealth of human community in Boulder, and there's so many dear friends. If everyone who I would like to have up here spoke, we would definitely be here all night, which could be fun. But next up, I wanted to invite the Jureks, and is that good? Do you need time to think? Okay, the Jureks. Scott and Jenny, and I'll stay in front of the mic.
We're doing a roast, right? Next.
Yeah.
Roasting fashion.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no single-use plastic here, but Waylon is single. So if anybody knows
That's awesome.
on that note, you know, he doesn't have children here, but he was born and raised in Boulder, one of two candidates who were born and raised here. So he went through the Boulder Valley School District. He knows the issues facing small children and growing up in Boulder, how to keep it safe. So we love Waylon. My kids love Waylon, just because we feel like he cares about families and all the issues that we're dealing with, and he always listens when we have suggestions.
And we need more families in Boulder because anybody who's familiar with the situation here, we're losing our families. So as a youngish couple, we're kind of on the older side, but that have young children, I think that's a big issue in terms of like what we want. There was mention of like keeping Boulder weird, but I think also keeping Boulder young and vibrant, and the young people are our future. We used to be young people once, but I think Waylon, even though he doesn't have children, is really open to listen. And as was mentioned, he's a very principled individual. He's kind of, and I know Henry David Thoreau is maybe not the most popular on some levels, but he's kind of Boulder's Henry David Thoreau. He's like living a very principled life. And as a fellow vegan, somebody who's followed kind of a similar path of like, I want to live my life in a fashion that people want to follow in the footsteps of. And I think that's very unique in today's society. And I think he's going to bring that along with, just listening to people and understanding what are the issues right now in Boulder. And speaking as a young family or having young children, he's going to do amazing.
And we don't eat fish.
We don't eat fish. Okay, and I'm going to bring up...
you want to keep it going?
If you don't know, this is like the other mayor and cheerleader of Boulder who's lived here all his life, as well another single parent individual who grew up in that. And I want to bring up Ryan Van Duzer because he can speak. Duzer!
Right on! Correct!
You can hang out with me, Evs.
And Duzer!
Thank you, Evs. I appreciate it. Well, Waylon is... He's my best friend, and he's somebody that I love dearly. I might get emotional because I just got back from Burning Man and I'm strung out. And I've been sharing a lot of love in my heart lately the last 7 days, but I love Waylon with all my heart. He is truly a best friend, but he's also somebody I look up to like an older brother, because he is older. You know those bracelets that some people wear in the Christian church say, "What would Jesus do?" I often think whenever I'm doing something in life where I have a decision, I think, what would Waylon do? And that goes with small purchases. If I'm going to buy something in a hurry at an airport and it's in plastic, I'm like, Waylon wouldn't do that, so I'm not going to do that. And I know that everything that's been said here, we all know in our hearts. We don't need to hear it in these speeches. Waylon cares a lot about this town. He cares about the humans here. He cares about the animals here. He cares about the trees here. I remember when my mom worked for the city, he would write into the city, and my mom would get these emails, and Waylon was so concerned that people were locking their bikes to the trees because the locks were scratching the bark on the trees. And that's just the kind of guy Waylon is. He cares about the very little things in Boulder that a lot of people don't see, but are a very big deal. I look up to you in so many ways, just of how to be a good human, how to be principled, how to have integrity, how to treat other humans in tough situations. You know, we've gotten through a lot of heartbreaks together and other tough times in life and great times in life. We ride our bikes around all the time, and we're just like goofy little boys, and we go get burritos and have fun. And I know that he's going to be such a huge asset to Boulder. It's no question in my mind. He is going to be elected. We're all going to make sure that happens, right? It is his time, and it's going to be magical, and I'm just so excited. I've never been this excited about City Council, and it's because of you. I love you, my friend.
I love you, man.
Yeah. Am I introducing somebody? Waylon. Now it's time for Waylon, the man of the hour. Let's make some noise.
Yeah, I love you. I love you.
I'm sure I'm forgetting some people who I invited to speak, and I'm causing some drama tomorrow. I apologize in advance.
I'll get
Carol,
over it. I'll
hey.
get over it.
Xantha and Dana, they're going to close it out. What's that? Okay, so I want to acknowledge the amazing compatriots I have here. I want to say, you know, running for council is kind of on oh, Crystal, you were going to say something? Okay. Oh, thank you. Amazing. I'm going to start seeing people the whole speech and interrupting myself. So, you know, running for council is on the Venn diagram, as Andrew Shoemaker knows, former council member who encouraged me to run over the years and then got tired of me thinking about it, as people have noted tonight. Running for council is on the Venn diagram of stupid, up for a lot of punishment, deeply caring, coming back to stupid probably, and, you know, obviously a lot of exertion and love and care. All of us here by default, bothering to go to a city council launch party, care about Boulder and are doing so much for Boulder in our own ways, all of us. And, you know, I want to acknowledge my compatriots who are here. I'm going to miss a few, but Terry, love knowing you, supporting and endorsing Terry. She's amazing. We don't agree on everything, but she's right on everything, so I'm learning from her. We got Tara, right? I'm working on the New York accent. She's amazing. She's a little bit of a, and don't hold this against her, but a little bit of a model for what I would like to be, in that she's delightful and confusing and wonderful and just wildly herself, and she just shows up as herself. Bob Yates, an amazing leader running for mayor against our other dear friend Aaron Brockett, is vicious. Yeah, there we are. So, and you know, I think the fact that both of you came tonight, you know, means a lot to me. That, you know, we can be not only you know, listen to each other, but be in the same room together. I know people in Boulder won't even be in the same room as each other around important issues anymore. So I love that. And Jenny, who I love and also am endorsing, right there, wave Jenny. Yeah. And she's brand new, but has just shown so much care and taking everything, I can't say seriously because you're so warm and kind, but so she's a serious candidate, and I really support her. Am I missing anyone? Oh, Tina. Tina, I have to say, is going to be a little awkward after everything I just said, but I would say she's my favorite. Tina, I mean, I don't even feel like I need to introduce you. Go talk to Tina. Oh, Aaron. Aaron. So, but before and Ryan. Oh my God. I'm supposed to talk about myself, right? At some point. Jason Unger, candidate for school board. So back to Tina. She's amazing. She's sharp. She brings amazing ideas. Please go talk to her. Aaron, Naropa boy. Let's hear it for Naropa. Yeah, go get to know him. We had a nice bike ride together the other night after a 4-hour city council training. And they're trying to break us in, I think. And then Ryan Schuhard, who I've also endorsed, amazing guy. He also bikes around with a yard sign. So if you get us confused at the ballot, just vote for Ryan and Waylon. Just focus on that. So let's start the speech now. That's the intro. So I did get the endorsement of Better Boulder today, and I'm not embarrassed about it. If you don't get the inside joke there's so many different groups and slates in Boulder, and it's like West Side Story, but no one's singing. They are trying to like, get up in each other's business in underground parking lots. It's ugly. And I'm running, as Steve, I think, said. Is Steve still here? Steve, good man. You know he loves me if he's still here, because he's the master of the cameo, coming, making a speech, and he's out. So Steve, thank you for your speech. It meant a lot. I am running in the hardest possible way, so I really do need your help. I'm running as an independent. I get some good-natured ribbing about what an independent is for my compatriots, but what that means is I didn't run because one of the two major slates of recent years has encouraged me to run. In fact, they begged me not to run. I'm kidding about that part. My attitude is I don't want to be independent like an island. I want the endorsement and support of everyone, hopefully everyone here. That's how democracies work. You want support from people. I'm not too special to belong to any slate. I'm grateful for the support of any slate. But what I am trying to do is run as an independent because I want to listen, which I know is rare sometimes for, white guys. But I really want to listen and then work with whoever my colleagues turn out to be, if I'm lucky enough or unlucky enough to be on council, and actually get to some solutions. I'm frustrated with where Boulder is at. And I think maybe some other people are frustrated. Anyone?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a negative energy kind of way. Don't worry, hippies or yoga teachers who came. But I'm frustrated in that I'm saddened that there are real problems in Boulder that are affecting people's daily lives that aren't, being helped in the way they could if we could just have the two councils, as I think Bob said at the plan forum, like really listen and learn from each other and talk to each other and listen to each other and get a drink at the Outback and arm wrestle it through. Because like occupancy, which just passed, is one example where I supported occupancy loudly and early for years. And I agreed with Bob's comment in the Boulder reporting lab the next day that, without affordability being built into it, we're trusting the market rate. And market rate in Boulder is the problem. Has anyone looked at Zillow lately? Any Zillow addicts here? Market rate is the problem. Why are we trusting market rate? Would I still have voted for it? Yes. Are issues ever going to be perfect? No. But I hope to be a part of making them better by listening to the other side, even folks on next door. I've been in that forum repeatedly, and I've had my ass kicked every time, and I will be back for more. Yeah. And I think, it's important to relate to people who are frustrated in Boulder, because otherwise it becomes a toxic kind of flat tire that makes the entire journey that can be living in an amazing Boulder not a fun journey, right? So we need to listen to these constituencies who are bitter or angry or upset or disappointed or whatever is going on, and try to take what is useful and make some improvements. So I feel like I'm still just getting to the beginning of the speech. I don't want to go on too long, but I do realize I can't assume everyone knows me here. So my name is Waylon Lewis. I was born in Boulder at the hospital that was just torn down for housing. fan of housing right here. Someone asked me today, a longtime friend who hadn't seen me in a long time, she was like, "Oh my God, you're running for council. I'm so excited." And then she was like, "Wait, are you pro-density or anti-density?" And I said, I'm pro-density if it includes affordability, which it kind of always does by nature if you know about it, but we need to push for that. We need to push for affordability. I also sat down with some friends who were like, "Why don't you guys just build 40,000 affordable units and then we're good?" It's not that simple as people know Boulder, how cities work. It's not that simple, sadly. In the meantime, we are building 40,000 luxury condos, don't worry. So I was born here. I went in the Buddhist community. I'm very proud and grateful to be born in that Buddhist community. I meditate daily. I study the Dharma. It keeps me sane, even when folks on next door are complaining about me, or, you know, Evan Ravitz is posting on Reddit, which if those words don't make sense to you, just visualize Mordor. No, Evan, I'm not going to get coffee at this point. Sorry. So I was born here. I don't put up with people's BS too much, but I do want to listen, and I do want to actually help. The three issues that everyone knows about, so I'll try to go through them somewhat quickly, are climate. I want to start with climate because not enough people do. Climate is existential, and it's not a theoretical thing out there that Greta Thunberg and David Attenborough are talking about. It's the Marshall Fires. It's the toxic smoke that means you can't go to West End and sit on the patio, or your kids can't go play soccer. And it's the increased flooding, and it's coming for all of us. And it hits the most vulnerable among us hardest and first. And we are not prepared. And that literally, we met the other night, the candidates with the staff, amazing staff, city staff, including the fire folks. And they said, that's what keeps them up at night. And it keeps me up at night, honestly. I mean, I've seen a fire start right outside of my bedroom window up on Flagstaff. Someone flicked a cigarette or something. And, they put it out, but it spread fast. I don't know if you have seen a fire spread, but it's stunning. So fire mitigation, a lot goes into climate. Like Ryan and I are huge fans of protected bike lanes, so that families, everyone can feel safe biking around. I don't think many of us feel safe biking around right now. Do many of us want to feel safe biking around in Boulder? Yeah. Or want others who do bike to feel safe? And remember, every bike that is in the bike path has less traffic. So if you don't bike, it's still in our interest. It's less, emissions. I grew up with really bad asthma here in Boulder. So it's really good for all of our kids, obviously, if we don't destroy the whole planet. And then affordability and EV buses going to all the L towns in Golden. My friend Peter owns the Trident, majority owner, says there's only 2 buses in the morning and 2 in the evening that go to Golden. When he gets off work, there's no buses. So, RTD obviously everything's complicated, but, where we can't partner, we need to try to figure out how to do it ourselves with those L towns, etc. And I'm really excited to make some of this stuff happen. I know I'm going to go in with a little bit of that, like, if I'm elected. Do you think I'll be elected?
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but we need those moments. I know I'm going to go in with high expectations, and I'm also going to go in with humble expectations. I really look forward to learning from Mark Wallach, who can't be here tonight, but encouraged me to run and endorse me. Whether it's Bob or Aaron or Nicole, I really look forward to learning from you all. Genuinely. I mean, I grew up in the Buddhist lineage where learning from people is kind of how we're trained. And so climate, affordability is fundamental to climate. If people can't live here where they work, they generally may not work here long term, right? They're going to start wanting to work where they live. And we want what little diversity we have here. We want more of it, and we want to keep what we can. And that includes, as the Jurek said, families. Flatirons near where I live is apparently on its last legs. We don't have enough kids in schools to keep the schools open long term. If we keep ignoring, that's not fair to the current council or the past councils, but if we can't accelerate affordability. And, Brian Bowen, many others are going to press me on that. I won't let up on affordability. And I think affordability, at least if you listen to people and you believe them, is something where Plan and the progressives are united. So I often say, like, maybe they need some ayahuasca and we all go to the jungle together and they cry and, like, Peter Mayer and Eric Budd are hugging and crying. But affordability is something we all say we support. And, I don't think it's ever appropriate to call each other names. But if you don't support affordability, yeah, we might say the NIMBY word. We might. And it might be fair because we need it. My mom and I and, all our parents, Carol, Alex, they were able to buy homes for, I don't know, it seems like a steal. Maybe back in the day, 70,000 was a lot. I think it kind of was. My mom never made more than 12K in her entire career. But, it's not, I always say I've been to like 3 housewarmings in the past 15 years. I used to say 2, but then I went to Ryan's. I thought about going to Ryan's. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, that comes back to the broken arts a little bit. Yeah, anyway, so affordability. So that's a lot. Climate is a lot, and we could talk about it for hours, but I just want to really impress that it's a rich, diverse issue that interconnects with everything. So it's not theoretical, it's so practical. And yeah, fossil fuel companies are heavily investing in plastic, single-use plastic, because of reduced fuel consumption and move to renewables. So if you can, boycott plastic, go to Nude Foods, locally owned, woman-owned, please do. The second issue, and really the first issue on people's minds, the issue taking up a lot of oxygen in the room, or on the bike path, I should say, is homelessness and public safety, which to me are the same issue generally. Nicole Spear, candidate for mayor, was really eloquent about how public safety is also, fire mitigation, and there's many different levels to what it means to be safe. But in terms of public safety on the bike paths downtown, for the businesses, I went to Saucy Cluckers the other day, a new vegan fast food place. Brandy's been there. And, I had the honor actually, and kind of like the grave honor, I don't know how to put it, but with Ryan, we watched like a 45-minute homeless police interaction. A homeless gentleman ran in, freaked out. The owner of Saucy Cluckers was entirely like grounded and kind with him. The police came. They were incredibly patient and non-aggressive with him the entire time. It was a very diverse force, I have to say. It's like half women, I think at least 2 officers were Latino. There was a black gentleman who probably took the lead on the whole thing. And it was incredibly difficult and kind of powerful to watch. And, I've had the grave honor of seeing 2 other interactions that were similar. This is an issue that is easy to be macho about and yell about and get anti-homeless about. I think there's a group in Boulder that's a little bit like that. I'm not a fan of that. These are human beings. And if you wanted to cheer at all, let's cheer for empathy married to pragmatism. We can look, woo! Yeah. So people actually are a little hopeless about this. We've seen it really not improve. In fact, kind of get worse. And I don't lay that at the feet of the current council. It's difficult. But there are things we can do. Being hopeless about this is silly. You can look at, at least 8 other cities that I know of and others who have been teaching me. And I've been looking at this for years. Dan Williams and I, Dan, we're looking at this off a Twitter conversation. I don't remember when. And I then met with Aaron and others about it. And that was kind of the start of thinking about running for council, on my biannual tradition of thinking about running for council. I realized this is not a hobby. This is something I need to give a lot more time to make happen. I was trying to work on a transitional campground, and Aaron, to his credit, and others, Jen Livovich, who I met with, a lot of support, but again, it needed a lot of leadership and focus. Am I loud enough here? Is this too long? I know there's a lot to cover.
No, you're still
okay.
going.
I'm happy to end it, and we can all, have a good time. But homelessness is important, and I think the longer this this situation, the status quo basically goes on, the more anti-homeless sentiment rises, which is not good for the people feeling it. It's corrupting. You know, feeling that kind of hate for another human being or that kind of anger is dehumanizing to yourself, not just who you're directing it at. And there are things we can do. It's difficult. I mean, Tina, who's not listening right now, has acknowledged this. There is a lack of mental, we have to basically you kind of have to it's container in Buddhism. You have to have mental health. You have to have addiction care. You have to have, obviously, a lot of basics, like the churches who bring up the sandwiches, God bless them, no pun intended. We have to have haircuts, shaves, whatever. Dana's appreciating that I finally shaved. And you have to have it in a safe atmosphere where they can bring their dogs if they have dogs. So one of the solutions that has worked elsewhere, SOS in Denver, crime actually went down, taxpayer costs went down, is SOS, did I say that? Is transitional campgrounds. Other people have other solutions. Terry has other solutions in mind, and I frankly love it and welcome it and want to learn. And as FDR said, try something, try anything. If it fails, try again. And there are other cities that can save us a lot of time and expense because they've tried things and they've failed. People love to say Portland, Seattle, San Francisco. We can learn from the mistakes of other municipalities. Houston, if you haven't read about Houston in the New York Times, or there was just a Denver Post article, they said their secret sauce, and this is the entire, girding, is that the right use of that? I'm like half a nerd and half an idiot. Is the foundation of my run is, they said our secret sauce is we got everyone, all the nonprofits, everyone in the city to talk to each other, to work together, to harness, yoke with each other. And we can do that. And we need to do that because, and I looked it up after Aaron challenged me on this a little bit, 79%, according to one study, of homeless women are sexually assaulted in the camping situation. The status quo is not good for the homeless population in the winter, on windy nights. I bike home. I'm on the bike path 8,000 times a week. And there are some people who I've met with who say, the situation isn't that bad. I went down to the bike path one time to check it out, and it was cool. And I'm like, one time, I was just there 5 minutes ago. I was there half an hour ago. I was there 45 minutes ago, and then I was there 3 hours ago, and then I was there last night, And when I bike home, I'm a moral person, I hope. I hope all of us are here. When I bike home on a wintry night, seeing the homeless bedding down for the night, it's not right. It's not right. One of my fantasies is to build an app that would be sort of like Airbnb, but for homeless folks. And they could build up their reputation with reviews through any acts of kindness or whatever. And then if, at a certain point, you could actually say, oh, this person has so many reviews, so much trust, they can stay in my bedroom, my spare bedroom. Because when I'm biking home, I have 2 spare bedrooms, and people freeze. I mean, it happened like 3 blocks away from me one December, I think. People remember that up on the hill. So homelessness and public safety. People also on some sides insult public safety as if it's some fake concern. We've all been down farmer's market or the creek and seen hard drugs being done in the open. Has anyone? I have, repeatedly. I always say I'm like kind of a goody little Pollyanna boy. I had never seen hard drugs in my entire life. I had not done them. I had not seen them at a party with my friends. Now I've seen a lot of hard drugs being done. I don't even know what they are, but it's not okay. It's not safe for the people consuming them or addicted, and it's not great when you're seeing like children and families walking by. If you're jogging out on the creek path that is not well lit, Tara's strong on that. It does not feel safe even for me, and I'm a 6'3" and ugly. No one wants to talk to me, but it doesn't feel safe, and so I think we can look at that. There is other crime. A lot of my friends, their businesses downtown have been robbed. I don't think it's homeless situations. I don't know. I'm not the police, but the electricity was cut. It was in and out. It's pretty organized. 4 different shops right near. I don't want to like call out the businesses, but you should go support them. Yeah, I mean, actually, I do. I will just say their names so that you guys can go buy something and support them. Creature Comforts, brand new. Jess, amazing owner, woman of color, struggled to open 408 days. It took her to get through the city before she could even start building it out. And I have that mostly right. And what was the name? Creature Comforts, wonderful new cafe where Pharmaca used to be on East Pearl. And then right behind Amundsen, a friend of mine, Alex, son of a yoga teacher, Jeannie Manchester. Beautiful build out, probably one of the most beautiful shops in Boulder. Got like kind of destroyed. And then across the street, Paradise Records and the
Rollins.
no, I thought it was next door. It was the sort of convenience shop.
Oh, but the bodega.
The bodega, yeah. Maybe Rollins, but I don't know about that. Anyway, go support them. They're great. Local businesses. I am a local business. I care a lot about business. I got the support of Better Boulder today, mainly because David Ensign and I paid him off. I mean, it's a business, a lot of business folks there, so they're down with the payoffs. Probably not humor I can continue to use as I run. And then affordability, which we touched on, but affordability is so exciting and fun. Like if you're not excited by affordability, like Jill Granow, who wanted to be here tonight, who is generally supporting me, but technically not because she's on Sierra Club and can't endorse me, even though she did initially. She has a story about like 4 young professionals, women, wanted to buy a huge lot and subdivide it, build 4 tiny houses. They're teachers. They're the kind of young professionals, employees we need here in Boulder. And the city said, 4 tiny houses on a huge lot? No. Let's do a McMansion. And lo, a McMansion was born. And the 4 ladies, I don't know what happened to them, but none of us do, and that's the problem. So we can do exciting, creative, cool things. I mean, I think I went to a housing meeting like 20 years ago that was looking at tiny house villages. I'm sick of these meetings. Like, let's do some cool stuff, There's some 1920s cottages up on the hill where I live. I don't know if anyone knows them on Grandview, like near Broadway, like 11th and Grandview. And they're cottage, courtyard in the middle, apartment. It's so cool, so dense, and yet people have their own living spaces. They're puny, but people love them. Let's do that. More fun stuff. And, we're actually like regulating. Who is it that always says regulate for what you want? Who says that?
Me and Sam Weaver.
Okay, Sam. Yeah, Sam and Crystal mostly, but Sam actually. And, right now we're basically regulating for luxury condos. So I think we have enough.
Yeah.
And, I think green building can be part of that. Green building means a lot of things. Again, it means mobility, parking minimums, being able to walk around. Remember walking, like, I know, when you get out of the car and you go into a place, that part, the walking. So, imagine if we can be in like, I'm like a Strong Towns like fanboy. I want to live in that kind of town. Okay. I think that was my issues.
Yeah. Waylon.
There's more, don't worry. So number 4 on there, and it's the secret sauce. It's the Houston thing. Sorry, you can run away if you need to. Is, being able to work with people. Like, I disagree with people. I want to work with them. I disagree with people. I think maybe I'm wrong, and I could learn from them. I love to listen to people, honestly. I've done, I think, like 3,500 interviews now for Elephant. Listening, as I think the Dalai Lama said, is where you learn something. Talking is where you don't learn anything. I don't just want to listen, which is easy to agree with, but I want to listen, work in a coalition, to then do. It's like a little 3-step dance. Listen, coalition do? If I'm on council, if I'm lucky enough or unlucky enough to be on council, and we don't do, I think we're going to be frustrated, Boulder will be frustrated, and we'll just have more nasty next door posts mixed in with I saw a bobcat post. That's next door. So that is my fourth thing. I really genuinely want to run as an independent, want to run as someone frustrating and hard to pin down, but hopefully who will genuinely listen and make tough decisions for the good of this town and this community, and for no other reason. So then on the, and now we're at the end. I gotta say one thing. Wait, I'm not quite at the end. But do you want to say it right now, though?
Yeah,
you had your moment. That's great.
Get them elected. Everybody here who's run for council, running for school board, Andy, you got elected, Joseph, you ran. Everybody needs volunteers. So sign up, whatever you can do, put a sign out, write a letter to the editor, give it, $25 or less. Endorse, make sure you, or more, oh, thank you, not more than 100, and endorse. So he has a great big list of endorsers, and that's it. And everybody here will tell you that's what'll propel Waylon. And then afterwards, as Obama said, you have to help him. You have to support him. So if you have an expertise in planning, David, a bunch of you here, Danica, and a passion or climate or whatever it happens to be, Topher's with open space, we've got all this expertise. Share it with them. When those issues come up, it'll make them better and they'll listen. So sign that sheet or just go online and check your endorsing, etc. That's mine.
Thank you, Crystal. Woo! Crystal's been a wonderful mentor to me, and again, we're probably, I really appreciate your support, and Susan and Nancy. Like, these are people. Yeah. Susan was here earlier, former mayor. These are people they're supporting me even though in a way they don't trust me. Like, honestly, that's touching because we're like none of us are 100% aligned, even at the same party. Right? And by party, I mean this party, not a party. So I just want to end on a sweet note. I think all of us are united in being frustrated about Boulder, but also loving Boulder and what it can be and what it was and what it, could be. And I think for many years, I really, I've been made fun of a little bit tonight about thinking about running a bunch of times. I was running a business and I take running really seriously, and I never wanted to run. Worst case scenario, get elected and then drop out. I never could do that. And I was working so hard, people know me in my life, to support my staff and to support my company and then myself, kind of in that order. I always would run up to it and then be like, I can't do this, with integrity. I can't. It's a lot of work. Am I right on that, Terry, Jenny, Tara, Bob? I mean, for Bob and Aaron, I feel like they're making it look easy, Tina. It's a lot of work. Ryan, Aaron, why do I ever start naming the names? So I'm really excited to do it, and I'm going to win. I'm going to win only, though, with your support. I can't tell you, all of you have this experience. You throw a party, you invite a ton of people, and then last minute you get 10 texts from friends being like, sorry, I can't make it. Something came up, And I got those 10 texts tonight. And, for the people who are here tonight, I just really appreciate your coming. I hope you have a good time when I finally shut up. And, but I think to Crystal's point, we're here to serve Boulder. I'm here to serve Boulder. I have one motivation, and that is to serve Boulder. You could say a better Boulder. That was a little, okay. It worked. People are tired. Thank you. You're funny when you have to ask for the humor. That was a joke. I just want to say Boulder isn't what it could be. For many years, I would look at Zan as mayor and others, and I would say, that was my other reason for not running. I'd be like, honestly, on my best day, I don't think I would be much or any better than the current council. I do feel like at this point I can offer something helpful, if only to like listen, create a coalition that's a little confusing and move things forward. And by confusing, I mean you can't pin it down on one side or another. But really it's just focused on making things better. And I think that's what so many of us in this crowd have done. I've had 2 Dana Tempeh skillets this week, and Dana made Boulder better. Like so many of us have done that in our way, that I'm looking at. It's like every single one of you has. And on a personal note, you know, it's been hard running. I'm getting attacked. I'm sensitive. It's been exhausting. I go to sleep. I turn on like some cool show on Netflix or whatever, and I literally like wake up at 1:30 a.m. and I'm like, what's happening? And it's been mostly fun and fulfilling. 85% is what I say. 85% fun, fulfilling, meaningful. Like going to the BVSD. Thanks for the invite, Tina. Impact on Education ball or whatever it was, dinner. You know, I'm learning a lot all the time. And when you care about something, you're learning more about it. I mean, that's love. That's like describing a love affair. Learning more about something or someone and that you already care about. So, you know, whatever our differences are here, you know, go talk to Bob, go talk to Aaron, go talk to Ryan. There I go mentioning everyone's names again. You've heard the list. These are people who care. And hopefully I do too. I do need your help. Verity made it even though she was slammed and so busy. Nude Foods Market, I gave you a shout out. Were you here when I did that? Okay, Nude Foods. And I just want to say, you know, I will win if you show up, if you donate, if you get a yard sign, especially if your yard sign is like not on the hill where frankly I'm dominating. No, but in your neighborhood. And show up and vote and tell your friends and share stuff, because, you know, it's a little bit, I remember meeting with a bunch of my best friends before running and saying, hey, if I run, are you going to support me? Like actually, like show up. And Saul was like, let's get you elected. Let me host a party. And then I called him up like a couple weeks later and I was like, oh, we were going to do the launch party at Trident, but they double booked. They almost fired their events guy, the poor guy. Would you be up for hosting it on September 5th, which is like, you know, I don't know, 10 days from now? It wasn't much warning. Saul was like, no problem. And I love you, Saul. Meant a lot, your intro and your hosting, and Ulrika, yes, and the fam, Carol, Alex. There's so much love in this space. Ryan, I love you, man. Hillary, I love you, even though you didn't say anything tonight. She would probably be willing, though. I love so many of you. You know, Bob's been a mentor. You know, don't blame him for that. Like, my behavior is not his fault, but he's tried to mentor me over the years. And, you know, there's so much love in this room, in this space. So, anyway, it's enough. Thank you.
Yeah! Oh, I'm proud of you, man. That's amazing. Thank you.